Humans are creatures of habit. We're so used to the things we use every day that they simply become routine. This causes us to miss out on certain details or features that make common objects much safer, more useful, and more interesting. For instance, did you know that the little arrow next to your gas gauge is a convenient feature that indicates which side of the car your gas tank is on? Here we have compiled a list of such things whose hidden potential can be extremely handy. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. The arrow next to your gas gauge shows which side the fuel tank is on. If you've been driving your car for a while, then you should be familiar with which side the gas tank is located. However, if you're in a new car or an unfamiliar one and are unsure of which way to pull into a gas station, just check your dashboard. Most dashboards have a small arrow right next to the fuel symbol, which indicates the side the gas tank is located on. This hidden feature can come in handy, especially if you're in a rented car. The copper buttons on your jeans are called rivets. They are placed at specific points that are most likely to tear apart from strain or movement. Almost all of us have wondered at least once in our lives the true purpose of those tiny copper buttons in our jeans. They're not only a fashion accessory, but they also serve a purpose. The rivets are placed on your jeans at areas that are most likely to tear apart from strain or movement. When Levi Strauss made his first pair of jeans, stress was causing them to tear apart, especially among workmen and miners who wore them. The copper rivets are placed exactly at weak points in order to strengthen the jeans at the most conspicuous spots. The little dot next to the camera on an iPhone is not a flash, but rather a microphone for when you're using the back camera. All iPhones have a hole next to the rear camera lens and the flash. The small hole is easy to miss, and you may have never even noticed it before, let alone wondered what its purpose is. The hole is in fact a microphone, one of 3 on the device. Another is hidden under the speaker grill on the front, and a third sits on the phone's bottom edge. The triple microphone configuration was introduced in 2012 to improve the quality of audio being recorded. The little holes in the windows of airplanes regulate air pressure difference between the inside and outside of the plane. If you look carefully, you can see that a typical passenger cabin window has 3 panes, typically made of acrylic materials. The innermost pane is called the scratch pane, and its function is merely to protect the middle pane. In an unlikely event where the outer pane fails, the middle pane takes over and the passengers might feel a small leak of air through the breather hole. This is normal and the cabin's pressurization system will cope with it. The hole in the inner pane also regulates some of the pressure difference so that the outer window doesn't have to do all of the work. It also prevents the windows from fogging up. The brushes on the sides of escalators are not for polishing shoes. The tiny bristles are a safety feature that prevents clothes and bags from getting stuck in them when people stand too close to the sides. Every escalator is embedded with tiny bristles on both sides. Although similar to shoe cleaning brushes, they are installed as a safety precaution, despite their apparent similarity. Also known as escalator skirt detector brushes, or escalator safety brushes, their main function is to promote passenger safety by gently guiding passengers away from the skirt panels. If your shoes, clothes, bags, or any other object gets too close to the edge, they could get trapped in the gap between the stationary skirt panels and the moving steps on the escalators, causing serious mishaps or injuries. This safety feature is necessary to help reduce the chance of step-to-skirt entrapments. Those little holes in Converse All-Stars are not only for ventilation, but are also meant to be used for bar lacing. If you've ever owned a pair of Converse, you might have noticed the 2 unusual holes in the side panels. While they do serve the purpose of allowing your feet to breathe when you're not wearing socks, they're also meant to be used for bar lacing. Converse All-Stars were originally made as basketball shoes, so the holes can be used to loop laces for a snugger fit. They can also be used to create some amazing lacing techniques. The little Pom Poms on beanies are not just a fashion accessory. They were introduced to French sailors who used to knock their heads on the ceilings of ships with low decks. Many winter hats have pom-poms, which are commonly thought of as a fashion accessory. This unusual design was actually introduced to French sailors who encountered rough seas where they would bash their heads on the decks. The Pom Poms provided them with extra protection. The design was later adapted by Army troops, and that's how they became part of the winter sensation.